Welcome back to The Chasing the Truth. I'm your host, Kristen Campos, and I'm here today with previously mega personal trainer to cold calling, door knocking, right? To now just an entrepreneur. Now you're building a legacy, Nico Van Slyke.
Yep.
I'm so excited to have you today. Have you here today. I think a couple of just a background on how we met, just through mutual friends, the gym.
Yep.
But outside of that, my goodness, Nico, I think the personality and just the reputation that you have is second to none. Anybody that knows you is like, oh my gosh, you know Nico? And everybody has the exact same things to say about you with your credibility. So I'm really excited to have you on here, more so for the younger generation. Share your story, what it really takes. You can take us through the chase that you've been through and now like the truths that you found in business. So we're going to bring it back, talk about how you got started and where you're at today.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you we actually, I don't know, we could tell your audience that we shot this back in March.
Back in March, yeah.
And then a lot has changed. And I was like, Kristen, I'm so excited. I got to share some new stuff. Can we redo this? Or did you already release it? And do you remember your response to me?
Yes. Whatever.
It was, you said, I do this for the audience. I do this for you. So I super appreciate that. And that means a lot. So,
you know what? It's actually amazing because normally when we think about when we would interview a guest again, typically, we're thinking a year, two out before something drastically has shifted. And I think you almost have like, you've just been on this journey of you get a lot of work in, and a lot of life lessons, and then you immediately put that into action into the next thing. And it seems like, in our previous interview, we're going to do our best to really still lay it all out on the podcast as far as your whole story. But my takeaway last time was exactly that. Every lesson that you've learned, and then now the same thing. Like from January to March, you were already implementing, and probably way before then, but you've built so much momentum. You've gotten so much. You just put your back against the wall. You've gotten so much clarity. So I'm really excited that in the last 3 months, so much has changed.
Yeah,
we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's great. Where do we start? Where do you want to start?
Let's start with, back before you even did door knocking, before you even got into sales, you were just a kid. Trying to find your way in this world. For sure. And I think that there's a big audience right now, especially on social media, where, the younger generation is either in college or graduating from college, and they're like, what's next? And I should know what my big purpose in life is. So let's tailor this podcast kind of addressing that audience. What would you say, and how would you say it?
Yeah, my current mentor, Renee Rodriguez, he's helped so much, but one of the things he helped me with is, when I was getting into now a little bit more of the speaking role, from just things I've learned in my past and the lessons, is this like, if I could go tell my 20-year-old self or my younger self, I would say, there's information everywhere. We're not in the information age anymore. I mean, you can Google anything, Snapchat, GPT, or ChatGPT, Claude, all this stuff. You can find the answers. We're in the intention age, and I think with so much information and so much social media and so much noise, it's all amazing. But what's gathering your attention?
Right.
And so that's kind of the phase I'm in now. And it's just like, can you imagine like going back to when I'm 36 now. So if you go back to when I was 20 and we have all the information that we have now, it would be overwhelming. Like, what do you listen to? Who do you follow? Like, what steps do you take? You take one step, another guy has an argument about that step, and he's successful, so why not listen to him? But then someone else is successful, and they say, no, this is the steps you take. And then you got these mixed signals, mixed emotions, mixed information, and we have enough of the information. It's where are you putting your attention? And so it's super important. So I guess,
guys, for y'all listening, that is such a nugget. Because even for that younger generation, they might feel that way. But even myself, so many different podcasts, like what we're doing right now, right? Or just different mentors that are out there. And how do you pick the right one? Who do you trust?
Absolutely. So that's intuitive. I think everyone has a piece of them intuitively that speaks or listens to someone else coming from the heart. And so I don't know if that makes sense. It's just like I just can feel it now.
Yeah.
Like I can feel the way I receive information from somebody, just through my subconscious mind, the way my mind's been trained. It's like I know if this person's giving me good information or not. And so I take a lot longer than I did before, and I have like zero patience, which sucks, but I have learning patience, and like I'm taking a lot longer to develop, or not develop, but like I take more time to understand who's the right person for me, who's the right person to speak to, who's speaking to me, who's really just like, who's speaking to my heart. Right. And then from there, I kind of make a decision.
I think I would call that discernment, right?
Yeah, discernment, exactly.
I think you, like, once you've been through it a little bit and you've made wrong choices, you start to develop that little lever of discernment.
Yeah, discernment. I would say wisdom, but wisdom makes me feel a lot older than I am. Yeah. So, but wisdom, with discernment. Yeah, just through trials, tribulations, and a lot of errors. Like, it's I can kind of gauge who's right. And I haven't been wrong lately, which is great. Like I've learned something from all my mentors and all the people that have mentored me or I've listened to. I've taken something away, something pretty big away.
Yeah.
But yeah. So.
That's I think that's such a nugget though, because you said you've been right lately, right? But like when you're younger,
nah, you're wrong all the time.
You're wrong all the time.
Oh, you think you're right,
and that's okay. I think one of the things when I first got started in business, and I was like, Dad, in sales, because I was in a speech therapy role for many years, and then went into sales, and in what I do now, it's a very like male dominant field, and I'm like, Dad, who do I trust? And he's like, it's okay, you can make a decision, and if you make the wrong one, you can make another one. It's like, okay. But you kind of lessons learned.
And so off of that, like when we're young, the first thing that catches our attention is like, like for example, I just listened to a podcast with Chris Williamson and Erwin McManus, who's another great mentor of mine. I love him to death, love his family. And he said, we tend to take in, like we tend to idolize people and then we end up taking on their essence rather than what we're idolizing them about. Like we shouldn't, he said something along the lines of like, you idolize someone and then you end up idolizing their essence. So someone, when you're young and you don't know any better, you see someone, they're driving a nice car, they're flashy, they're out there, they're doing their thing, and you're like, I want to be like that guy. But you don't know what he did to get to where he's at. Yeah. And it might not be the right thing
and it's
for
also
you.
Like, do you want to be their character? Do you want to be their integrity? Or do you just want to be what they're portraying to be? Not who they really are.
Yeah, exactly. And so there's a lot of people that we love what they've done with their lives or what they've done for other people, but they've created a product or whatnot, but you might not want to be like them as a person. Right. But then when we're young, we're like, no, I want everything about this person. And so that was me. And so now I'm learning like, hey, what's really important? What really matters? Like what's the real impact I want to make? And now what mistakes did I make before that I'm not going to make today? and what people will allow me to get to the next level with staying true to my essence and staying true to my purpose, right? And so
that's how you start drowning out that noise.
Yep.
Yeah, and
exactly.
dialing it in.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to, in your 20s when you first started, because I want to say that your first job was personal training, one of your first serious jobs, personal training.
Yep.
So how did you go from personal training to sales to what you're doing now?
I played sports my whole life. I saw this guy, Greg Plitt, who was this badass fitness model, but like motivational speaker. He was like a YouTuber at the time. Rest in peace.
Cool.
He was cool. And he actually passed away shooting a protein commercial.
Actually, I do remember.
Yeah, he was so awesome. Like I was like, I want to be like this guy. Like this guy, I was just drawn to his energy. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to get into shape and work out because I played sports my whole life, college football and whatnot. So I did that. And then I got into Herbalife. So I was doing multi-level marketing. And then I got to a level that was pretty like it's called the Global Expansion Team. It's like it's a tab team member, total achievement, total
like
business achievement. Yeah, accomplishment business thing.
Yeah.
But and then I just I got introduced from a friend to go to Dubai to train a prince. And so there's a lot there. That's
crazy.
A whole story in itself.
Yeah.
But so I went to Dubai, trained a prince, lived there for a year and a half.
So you dropped everything else.
Yeah, I dropped everything else. I'm like, I'm gonna go do this. This is a new thing.
Which I would say, if anybody's done network marketing, like that's an amazing like self-development program.
Oh, that's where I learned personal development.
Yeah,
for sure.
So much.
So you have to work on yourself, right? Yep. Which is nuts. And so like Herbalife and multi-level marketing, like changed the way I viewed like I didn't even know what personal development development was before, right? And so did that, with my girlfriend at the time. I went to Dubai, lived there for a year and a half, trained a sheik. It was awesome, right? But you couldn't, if I looked to the left and looked to the right, I had accomplishment. There was no one to high five. There was no one to, 17 hours from my family.
So let's like peel that back, because I think that, like I said, from a 23-year-old person that's graduating college, maybe like now trying to find their way.
Sure.
If Instagram was as big of a deal as it is now, or social media was, then you would have been the like identifiably cool person that everybody would want to. I mean, here you are, like in Dubai, chic, like probably shredded yourself, and all of these cool experiences. But like you said, like who you really are, what were you thinking at that time? Were you happy? Was it that you saw doing for the rest of your life?
I was just curious. I've always been a curious person. So I was just like, where can this lead? But not really knowing, I didn't have an end goal with it. I was just like, maybe I should go do this. Yeah. And it's crazy that you say that about social media. Like if I knew what it would do today, because social media I look at it as a positive thing if you use it right, if you use it as a tool to impact and help people. I was getting pretty big then on that, and then I stopped posting altogether. I was like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, this is not fun. But it was like, I guess I had to, it's really hard. It's one of those roles that you have to experience yourself. It's like, for example, Naval Ravikant just did a podcast with Chris Williams not too long ago. And he said, if you like the shiny objects and you like the nice things, he says go after those nice things. It's okay. Because you're going to realize after you get those nice things that those aren't the things that really matter. So you're going to experience them. The feeling's going to go away. And then you're going to be like, oh, what's next? Because it's not part of your purpose, right? And so it would have been hard for someone to tell me like, no, this isn't going to be the path for you to go train a prince in Dubai. Like that's not the path, but I need to experience it myself, right? And so when I did it, it was so fun and so great at first. But then after, you're like, as humans, like we're just designed to move forward. We're designed to survive and move forward and want to thrive, right? And so when you're doing that, you're like, what's next? There's not much next. To go train another big famous person or train another, high level person, like, okay, then what? And so I had to experience that, and it took me probably, good half a year to 8 months to really understand that this might not be my end all be all.
Yeah.
But took a year and a half to actually cut it off and say, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to live here anymore.
Yeah. There's a book called Wild at Heart. It's for guys.
Okay.
And there's a girl one called Captivating.
Okay.
And in it, there's like 3 things for a guy that like define like what wires men, right? But one of them is a beauty to save, but another one is an adventure. To be on. And that's just it, because it's not really like the end goal of it's like the adventure itself. It's the journey itself that men are wired for. And I thought that was like such an interesting perspective, but almost like when you went into, or when you're in Dubai and you're like, okay, because what was the adventure? Like you were just, we're here.
Didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And that's an adventure in itself, but yeah, 100%. And then after it's like, okay, well, am I satisfied? Is this what I want to do?
Yeah.
Well, no. So I left, right?
Mm-hmm.
Came back, did online fitness and nutrition for a while, lived in South America, or stayed in South America for 3 or 4 months. Worked with, in Quito, Otavalo, Ecuador, did like a gym tours and taught people how to eat based on their like what's available to them, which was really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was very cool. And then I was like, I need to make money. And I need to like figure out what my path is. At this time I'm 26, 27.
So you're 26, 27, and you still don't have it all figured out.
Yeah, no, not even.
Surprising.
I'm like, what am I gonna do? Yeah. And so then moved. I moved back to the East Coast, Raleigh, North Carolina, where my girlfriend at the time was from, or nearby. We ended up splitting up. We're just young, Yeah. She stayed in Ecuador, actually.
Wow.
For a while. I moved back to the West Coast. I stayed at my parents' house, and it was Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. I went to my buddies knew I was in town, and so they're like, come play quarterback in this turkey bowl, a flag football tournament, right? And so I did. I tore my Achilles.
How long had you been back since that happened?
A week.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a week, and I tore my Achilles. So now I'm in a boot, living at my parents with no job, not knowing what I'm gonna do.
What's next?
And me and my girlfriend just broke up, so on top of it, And so
you could add like
that
lists
depressing.
of disappointments.
Oh my gosh, it was so depressing. I've never been through something like that before. It was like I've always kind of excited my way into the next thing, and you can't move, right? And I was in a boot, so I stayed at my parents for a good 5-6 months, and then I was like, I can't live. I'm 27, 28, about 27, and then I'm like, I gotta move in to, like, I'm gonna ask my sister if I can move in with her, because like it sounds better than me telling people I'm living at my parents.
Right.
Moved in with my little sister, my baby sister, with her husband. I was there for probably another almost a year.
Wow.
And what's crazy about this is, like, I would lock myself in my room until like noon. And then every day I'm like, okay, I'll try tomorrow. I still didn't know what I want to do. I got through this. It was like this super deep depression of like, but it was like a spiraling down, like super, super far down, to where I had like really serious thoughts of like not being here.
Yeah.
And that's where I had to make a change, right?
And let's pause there for a second, because I think that, and just for mental health awareness in general, but I think that a lot of people think that they're alone, and that nobody else, especially if they're successful, has had feelings like this. And it's because you're at the bottom of the bottom.
Yeah.
And to dig yourself out is one of the hardest things to do.
Absolutely.
What were some of the steps that you took to get out of just like that headspace?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I was in that stage, the only things the things that would always pop up is like a picture of my mom, and what that would do to her if I was not here. So that was big, because it made me realize I have family.
Right, people that care.
Yeah, people that care. Like my sister taking me into her home, and my brother-in-law, my parents taking me into their home. My little brother, my Nana, my Grammy, my Papa, like all of my family, like they cared. They like it didn't matter how, like, it to me in my head at the time, it's like I'm supposed to change my family's tree, like the family tree, and make things so much bigger and better and more comfortable for everybody moving forward. And now I'm in the very opposite now, not knowing what I want to do,
almost feeling like a burden.
Yeah. And so, perfect question is because going back to when I was in Herbalife, I was introduced to personal development. And so that's what I did. I said, look, I'm just going to watch a YouTube video of someone, Robin Sharma, Tony Robbins, all these different, Brendon Burchard. I'm just going to watch a video and then go on a walk. And so I started waking up a little bit earlier, watching a video, going on a walk, watching a video, going on a walk. And that would be like the highlight of my day.
Wow.
You know, like hiding everything from my family, hiding everything. Oh, things are great. I'm figuring things out. I'm going to be an actor in LA once I'm fully healed my leg. And like, I'm just working on figuring out who's going to be my agent and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of like their thoughts of what I want to do. And I was making little calls here and there, but I didn't really know.
Right.
I was like, how can I live a big life? You know, it's an ego speaking. Like, that's really what was going on, right? And so from there, I made a video, and I think you've seen that video.
I did, and that video is, maybe we'll get it and we'll like.
I'll give it to you, yeah. And it just was me speaking to myself saying, hey, I'm at my lowest point. I have all this debt. I'm living at my sister's house. Life is not exactly where I thought it would be. But I'm going to tell the future Nico that I love you and thank you for not giving up, because I had such bad thoughts of just deep depression, you know? Yeah. And so from there, it's crazy because I'd been doing personal development for literally like 8 to 10 days max. I went to go rehab my leg on the Stairmaster at a gym. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start going to the gym now. The walks are done. Let's go to the gym. And interview, because of the algorithm, an interview popped up that said interview with the $40 million Beverly Hills Housewives star Edwin Arriabe. And after that, I watched that video. It was him and Grant Cardone. And after that, I was lit up because he had a story similar to mine. And so I related to him. He's like, I was living this amazing life in Beverly Hills with my dad. We got raided by the DEA. He had to flee the country. He could never come back. Now, instead of us living in Beverly Hills, we're living in, it was I forgot where it was, Huntington Park, which is the hood in Los Angeles, near Compton and all those other places. And then he's finding himself at the bottom, 15 years old, taking care of his entire family, his brother, his sister, his mom, in a studio apartment. And then he got out of that. He's like, you know what? Like, I have to be the change. I have to take control. And he got out of that. And then now he's who he is today with this massive company. And so I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm at the bottom part of the second part where I was living this amazing life in Dubai, had a great career in network marketing and personal training. And now I'm at the very bottom, and he was there and back at the bottom. So I'm like, oh, I need this guy to mentor me. So I reached out to him through DMs, and then I was like, you lit a fire in my ass, man. Like, thank you so much for your contribution. I'd love to train you just to like,
like, can I offer you something?
Offer you something, right? And he's like, hey, Nico, where do you live? And then he's like, here's my number.
Responded.
Yeah. And then we jumped on a 2-hour call. And then next thing you know, I'm in LA at his place, and which is 7 hours from Northern California. This is a couple weeks later. And then next thing you know, I'm living in Philadelphia. And I'll tell you from there,
Let's pause for a second.
Yeah.
Going back to just like I don't know if you've ever read the book Slight Edge.
No, but I've heard of that book.
So that
Wait, who wrote that book?
Jeff Olson, I think is his name. But amazing because it's just little slight edge decisions. Like, you can either do them or not.
Okay.
And I think in your your weakest point of depression, just the slight edge decision to play a video a day or listen to one thing a day and go on a walk. And I always think about when you do have a lot of negative thoughts, how do you get a positive one? Yeah. Sometimes you have to just like interrupt that. Yeah, you got those thought patterns and just input a ton of positivity, which is what you did. Yeah. And eventually that created opportunity. Just that one little thing. Yeah. Because then the algorithm came for you. Yeah. The courage was there because you'd been working on yourself for a little bit. Yep. Just to ask. Yeah. And then you ended up in Philadelphia. That's wild. In a span of how many weeks from when you decided to start listening to videos?
So I think it's on that video. I think it was March 9th was the date I made the video, which was about 8 to 10 days after I got into personal development, started walking and stuff. And then I had my first sale May 18th.
Wow. So let's talk about the sale though, because what were you doing?
Yep.
What kind of sales? Are you getting kicked in the teeth? I'm sure.
Yeah. So when I went to LA to talk to him, he's like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Well, first we had this 2-hour call, and then I saw him in LA. I was like, I'm moving down there. I'm going to be closer to him and what he's doing and whatnot. I'm going to start training people on the side and just I have the motivation, to do it now, or I'm inspired." And my legs feeling better, all that good stuff. So he's like, I want to send you, like, I want you to come try what we do. Like, you want to be a public speaker. You want to help people. You need more than fitness, nutrition, mindset under your belt. You need more personal development. You need to know about finance, how to build culture, how to do sales, all these things.
It was more about like developing, what could you do to develop skill sets?
Yes, exactly. Because then you can speak to a broader audience, right?
And you can take those skill sets and apply, which you've done since then, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah. And so he's like, but you're going to be distracted here in LA. So I have a manager in Philadelphia. Just go for a couple weeks, see how it is. If you don't like it, come back. So I went to Philadelphia, not knowing I was going door to door, walking. I'm 29 years old.
Wow.
Keep in mind, a couple years before this, I was living in Dubai, training a prince, living in the Jumeirah Beach residence, like in Jumeirah.
Here, you mean.
Yeah.
So here.
Yeah, and now I'm literally getting dropped walking and knocking doors.
Wow.
I was so embarrassed. I wasn't gonna share it with anybody.
Humbling. Thing.
Yeah, I was like, so there's no chance.
If somebody was asking you.
This is a great question. When they asked me, I was like, yeah, I came to the CEO of this company saw how the potential in me, and he sent me to Philadelphia to train with this manager to help run a sales organization.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to.
I spoke it into existence, which we'll get into, but so I went there, and the reason why I went is he showed me his check, the manager, and I'm like, if you could do that, I could do that. Like, there's nothing, like, when you see someone accomplish something, it should be enough for you to feel like you can do it. And that's, like, I try to tell everyone that. I'm like, if someone can do it, it can be done.
Yeah.
Right? And
if somebody says, okay, if this is a check, because money numbers don't lie, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, if you're telling me X amount of output is going to get me X amount of results.
Yep. Yeah. And you read Think and Grow Rich before?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Like faith and desire. If you have enough faith and you have enough desire, or you have enough desire and you have faith, you can achieve whatever you want. And so at the time, I just needed to see that it was possible. And then the mentor, Edwin, I saw his lifestyle. So I wanted his lifestyle. I knew that this person was more relevant to the checks he's making that he made last week. I could learn from him, at least to get to that point, and then I could work my way to being closer to this person.
And what was it about his lifestyle that was attractive to you at the time?
Yeah, he had a family.
It was like less monetary.
He had everything to me from what I saw. I didn't really know him, so it was like he had the cars, he had the houses. He lived in Hollywood Hills. Yeah. He had Lamborghinis. He had all these cool cars. He was able to travel. He was on TV every once in a while. He had an RV. He had a suite at the Rams stadium, football stadium. He was able to bring whoever he wanted, his friends, family, all these things. And I'm like, that's a full package lifestyle. And he's willing to mentor me, or he's willing to take my call or whatnot. I'm gonna do what he says, because I want that life. So I trained with this guy, the manager in Philadelphia. And the first day on my own, I got dropped off. And I had no idea I was going to get dropped off, walking and knocking doors.
Dropped off to knock on doors.
Yeah. It was in New Jersey. So 30 minutes, 40 minutes outside of Philadelphia. It's called Bridgeton, New Jersey. And you can't get an Uber anywhere. There's only one stoplight in the area that I was, and there's only a 99-cent store and a gas station. So there's nowhere to go. If you need to go to the bathroom, you have to go in a customer's house.
Yeah.
Or if you needed anything, you got to walk miles to the 99-cent store and back, and and it just would take way too much time. So you're there to work, right? First day, I knocked 144 doors.
And what were you selling?
Alarm systems.
Okay.
Yeah, security.
Okay.
No one let me in their house. No one gave me the time of day. People were slamming the door, and I saw it being done, and I'm like, what's going on? I thought I was gonna sell 5 or 6 that day, and I'm like, what's going on?
You're probably so stoked. You were
Yeah,
like, I've got this in the bag. Yeah.
And so the week before, Edwin said something on a call. He said successful people are very self-aware. And so I had to figure out. I started writing everything. I had a reporter on my phone that, like, on an app that, like, how many doors I knocked, how many people answered. So I knew where in the sales process I was messing up. Whether it was my prospecting was off, my qualifying was off. Like, what was it? Was it the objection handling? What was it, right? And so there was no objection handling because I never got in a house, and so never got to the closing table. So
like, okay,
it was nothing. And I talked to a lot of people, and so it was nothing more than the energy I was bringing to the door. And so I was talking too fast. I wasn't making eye contact. I wasn't asking enough questions. I was speaking on the benefits of the features, or the features rather than the benefits of the product. Like, oh, this camera sees 360 degree angle, and it's 4K and all this stuff, rather than, like, what does it do for you? Yeah. And so I paid attention to that. The next day, it was pouring rain. I'm sitting under a tree, and I was, like, in my brand new, I had these Adidas NMDs, and I had a brand new iPad, and I'm soaked. I'm like, this is embarrassing. And I had nothing to do. Like, there was nothing I could do. I was like, I got to knock. Not the next door, but the one after that, I got my first deal. I sold 3 that day.
Wow.
And then the rest is kind of history. I was never, like, a crazy big salesperson, but I was super consistent. I worked every day, 12 to 9, Saturdays from 7 in the morning after we had team breakfast out there in Philadelphia. I'd work from 9 in the morning till 5. And then Sundays, the only thing I would do is reward myself at Lululemon if I hit my goal. I'd buy a pair of pants or shorts, or I'd buy a new collared shirt or whatever it is. And I'd get a haircut every week. And so it was like a self-care Sunday. And then, that's what I did. And so what was crazy about that time is I was so deep in it. Like, I was so focused. And I still try to get to that level of focus, but no joke, I'm not even kidding. Every single day, it was wake up at 6, walk a mile to the gym in Fishtown, in Philadelphia, with other people on our team, talk about sales, listen while I'm working out, listen to like Door to Door Millionaire, different podcasts, stuff like that. Come back, walk back, do objection handling, eat breakfast, shower, go down to his basement, do 1 hour of training. We do a team training. Come up, get in the car, drive 40 minutes to area where we're all talking about area, get dropped off, work for 7 hours or 8 hours, get picked up at night at, like, in the summer, 9 o'clock, and then talk about the day, and then come back, shower, reflect, go to bed, and do that every single day.
Like, I don't even know what to equate that to. Like, almost like you might say boot camp, but there's also, like, camaraderie and teams. So maybe similar to, like, professional athletes on a team, or even the military, where you go on a mission, then everything you do is, like, eat, sleep, and breathe.
Yeah. And I knew that if I didn't do that, I would be stuck in the same place I was before. And I was pushed more by fear than inspiration. I was pushed by the fact that if I ever got back to that place, how terrible that felt. And I needed to do whatever I needed to do to get out of that place. And people don't understand, like, when they think of, like, how the trajectory of my the outcome in Door to Door, they're like, oh, he got lucky, or he's this person. I worked my ass off.
Let's talk about your numbers, just so that the audience knows,
I love that.
Some credibility. And I know you're not one to just shout it from the rooftop, but I'm going to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, I want to be. I'm vulnerable. I'm an open book, and I love that, because I know that it could help someone. Some part of my story, even if it's something that I'm not aware of it helping, will help somebody. So I'm pretty open.
Because you did say, you're like, I was never one of the, like, super mega sales, like, because it doesn't take that. It takes sweat equity, discipline, and consistency.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
So what were your numbers starting off? Like, you got a couple of sales that second day on a rainy day, and I know you said the rest was history. What was history?
So a really killer sales rep in a summer will sell 15 to 20 in a week. I never sold more than 9, and I never sold under 5 every single week. So super consistent, right? It wasn't till almost year 3 where I had my first 20 plus like sales week, but never for that. So I got rookie of the year starting in May, because I keep in mind I started halfway through the year almost. And I got rookie of the year that year, and I didn't focus on anything else but being my best self. Like, how good of a salesperson can I be? I already knew from Herbalife and from just my energy, I knew that I could recruit people, but I knew that I would really be able to recruit. And Edwin would tell me, he's like, don't recruit anybody, just focus on yourself. Yeah. And coming from the owner who wants more people in the business, that's a big deal, right? And so I knew that I could do that, but I knew that I could get better quality people if I can speak authentically about my results. And so that's what I did. So that first year, got rookie of the year. Next year, I moved to Austin because my business partner at the time moved to Dripping Springs for his wife at the time. And so he's like, come to Austin, check it out. I was like, okay, this is cool. I moved to Austin 2019, January 7th, 2019. And something like that. Yeah, January 7th, 2019. And the rest is history. So that summer, or that year, I became a regional.
So now you are working out of Austin, or are you still going?
Yeah, we're going all over, but Austin was home base. Okay. Like that, we do these sales blitzes, but that year recruited maybe 25, 30 people.
Wow. You recruited 25, 30 people to go knock on doors.
Yeah. So by myself, that first year I sold like 100, 120 accounts maybe. That second year as a team, we did over 1,500 accounts.
And what does that translate into money?
Dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically my first year made a little bit over 100 grand in those 7 months or so, which was amazing. Sure. Yeah, I had a lot of debt.
Yeah.
Paid off a lot of debt. That second year made about $240,000. That third year made about that third year was 2020. Oh man, that was a big year. No, the next year was a big year. That third year, like 340. Okay. And then that fourth year, million plus. Wow. And I got up to 2023, nearly $5 million.
So year 0 to year 5?
From 2019 to 2023. What was that? 4 years? 5 years? Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So in 4 years, you went from 0 to...
Yeah, or 2018, sorry. Yeah, 5 years. Yep.
5 years.
Mm-hmm. 0 to 5, just under 5 million a year. Wow. Or in that year.
When you think about people, because anybody listening to this would have been me a couple years ago. Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if they did it, I could do it. And yes, for sure. Mm-hmm. But you don't make $5 million for no reason.
Yeah, you have to have some skill for sure.
For skills and just so much more work ethic. It's always gonna take more than you think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's messy. Yeah, it's not like, it's just, you're trajecting. Every year we grew, but we had more and more problems, more issues, more things. And this is where we left off last time, and this is exciting. So yeah, we started growing and became one of the fastest growing organizations in the country. Mm-hmm. And then I became a VP of sales in 2022.
And you're still with the same company?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We were with a company for a short year because we couldn't get funded. Okay. So we went from Brinks to Vivint and then back to Brinks. It wasn't even a full year. Okay. And so... yeah, that's another story. But basically, we kept going, and it was crazy. We went from like 35 sales reps to well over 500, 600 with a sale in 2020. Yeah.
500 people?
Yeah. Around the country.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think at one point, we had like 650 that were onboarded.
Wow.
I'm not sure with the actual sale. We'll see, but it was.
I like to go back to making money in sales doesn't have to be sexy.
No.
And
it mostly the time it isn't.
I think we're all kind of short-sighted because a lot of things are being sold on TikTok Shop, and
Sure.
you know, that's like cool.
Yeah.
But nothing outworks like old school sales.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But that all comes back from the power of intention, in which we'll go into the next part. But the power of intention was like, hey, what your intention is to get better every day. Like, Nico, you can't, like, you know, I was telling myself, like, you can't sit in this stage of life anymore. You can't sleep in till noon. You can't lock yourself in your sister's. You can't live here anymore. You have to do something different. By just putting intention into making a change, like watching a YouTube video, the algorithm popped up to where I watched this one that I was supposed to see. It was so obvious, right? Looking back. And then I reached out to him, and now I'm working in this company, and now he's my business partner, you know? And so things were amazing. Like, I'm not going to lie. We were like the wolves of Austin, like the way we were
moving like a pack.
Yeah, we were just like, there was party animals. There's all this different groups, you know, a team of girls, another team of like fraternity boys, team that older people with families, a team, like we're all over. We had like 19 different teams throughout the country.
Wow.
And we're just like, this is insane, right? It was crazy. And so,
you were basically making door knocking.
Cool. Yeah. And so the way you do that is you think about yourself. So anyone, you know, trying to recruit the younger generation, who, remember when I first shared in this, like when you're younger, when you're 20, you know, 25, younger, like any younger than that, you're just like, you stick to what your eye sees as cool. Like, what's cool to you? Oh, someone making money. Edwin, he had a family, but he had the cars, the houses, the lifestyle, you know. And so without me knowing deep, and he's a great person, but like without me knowing the depth of him, I was attracted right off the bat to this guy works super hard and he has the life to show it. And so that's what I would do. I'd post, you know, my cars. You know, I had an R8. When I first got my R8, it was my favorite movie ever is Iron Man. And so I was like, I have to have that car one day. You know, you get that car, and then I had the G-Wagon, and then I got the house, and then I got the Lambo. So it was like, when I started posting these things, whether people thought I was, you know, if they knew who I was, they'd be like, okay, he's authentic, he's cool. But like, my job was to recruit.
Right.
Like, that's what you do. And if you do it with intention and you do it with like passion, like people say, oh, well, you're just trying to attract these type. Yeah, because those people are hungry. Those people want it.
Those people will work.
Yeah, those people are like, I want that life. I want that. They were me when I was younger. Why would I not want another me when I was younger? Those people are hungry. They're ambitious. They're going to make mistakes, but they're going to figure it out. And that's who the people you want on your team, right? And so we're just a wolf pack of just like killers. But we lacked a lot of personal development. And so one of the things, so whenever you build something that big, it can go down just as fast. That fast, you could go down. So 2025, okay? Or no, 2023.
Fast forwarding?
Yeah, fast forward, 2024.
Okay. So this is last year.
Yeah, last year, a lot of vulnerability. Want to share my vulnerability because I think it's important. But like, my parents split up after 35 years. I tore my Achilles playing pickleball at Eastside Paddle Club. Yeah. We go through a lawsuit at work. And because people are scared, I lose 70% of my business, which felt like overnight. And now I can't walk.
Wow.
I have a 3-story house and I can't go up I can barely go up the stairs. So I'm like, this is terrible. I'm in a boot, just had surgery.
Some might say because, you know, when you were with the Sheik, you were probably here and then you hit rock bottom here. And then when you taste that good of a life, you build it up here. Some might say that a lawsuit, the foundation of like your family felt like that had broken in front of you, and then now you're back in a boot or you're back like
so
immobile
bad.
again.
Yeah,
almost like you climb that so high, and then again it feels even deeper. But in between the two, you've worked on yourself.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly. And so I'm glad you said that because you know, one might say like, oh no, this is downhill again. But because I've been there before and I know what it feels like, and sometimes you got to experience that like yourself, and you have to do that deep work on yourself. No one else can feel that or help you out of that. Because of that, I wasn't really scared of anything. I didn't feel good, but I wasn't scared.
Well, and you're like, this feeling is familiar.
Yeah.
I've gotten myself out of it once.
Yep. Now I'm smarter.
Now I'm smarter.
I'm
more
more
resilient. I
got
have
more
all the
experience.
resources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that happened. This is all by like April of last year. And I'm like, oh my God, my income got cut in half. It was still great, but it was just like, it wasn't what it was. Like, you know, like I was saying before, humans are like, we need to thrive. We need to feel like we're moving forward. Right. And so, it was a massive blessing in disguise because it forced me to do really deep inner work. And that's where this like, I'm hoping the listeners and viewers are listening to this part, because this part was really, really cool. Like, most of the time in our lives, the growth does not happen in the momentum or the fun. It happens in the deep work or the weeds or what others might think is negative. That's where the growth happens. Because the growth happens when you figure out how to get out. And the growth happens when you figure out how to make a positive shift in a negative environment or in negative circumstances. And so because I was familiar, and because if you stay resilient, you'll always find your way out of the problems, right? And so that summer, last summer, like, just watch the org drop and drop and drop and drop. Like, you're talking like, 25% a month.
Wow.
And then you're like, oh my gosh. And it's just like,
how do we stop the bleeding?
Yeah. And so I knew that door to door wasn't going to be my end all be all, but I knew it was the vehicle to help a lot of people and then help me get to the next level of whatever I was going to do. And because I always thought, okay, we make a door to door, people look at it as a negative thing. Like, oh, you do door to door. And then you make it cool. And then you teach other people to do it. And now they think it's cool. And now you're like changing lives in a like in a career that people mostly look as a super negative thing. And they're like, what? How'd you do that?
Right.
And that's where I was like, okay, this is going to be my story that I want to share with people. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, as if you put enough like passion and purpose into it and you focus on your like growing yourself, like getting better, you're going to be fine. You stay resilient and you'll be fine. Right. And so this last summer was a big learning experience for me. I partied a lot more than I thought. I was like, oh no. Because, and that's me being truthful. Human. Yeah, human. It's like, well, shit, my leg's not fully healed. Don't want to go to the gym as much because I'm not getting the full benefits of it. That's what I thought, right? I'm like my team's drowning. I still have money in the bank. So might as well just live it up and kind of like hide the pressure and just like drown myself in like distractions.
Right.
Right. And so after ACL, which is October, I had this realization with myself. I was like, I need things to change. And we're going back to intention. So the first thing I did was call my buddy Colt Moncla, who you would love to interview. He runs a roofing company. Their culture is so amazing. They've been asked to sell. He's built on integrity, and he's like the concrete and the ground of his whole life is personal development. And so I call him. I'm like, can we go to get coffee? He's like, sure. He gives me a book. I give him a book. We always have coffee. We exchange a book. He gave me this book by Price Pritchett called U Squared. Great book, little short read. And he's like, what are you doing next week? And I was like, trying to figure out my next move, you know? And he's like, why don't you come to, he's like, well, my top performers, I ran an incentive to come to Tony Robbins, like in Newark, New Jersey.
I remember when you posted about that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll let you know. I called him and I was driving and I was like, I had like, whatever, you know? I called him, and he's like, here, I'll get you in touch with the dealer, the guy that sells the tickets, you know. I call the guy. He's like, yeah, I buy the ticket. I buy a VIP ticket for like half off because of Colt bought like 20 of them already for his team. And so the guy's like, no, you get we'll put you in that same discount group, but you're going to be separate. You're going to be on the floor. I was like, okay, cool. I go to the event. My two intentions were like love myself enough to find and attract true love and figure out what the hell I'm going to do with my life. The whole weekend was incredible. I leave and we were just reading this not too long ago, the booklet that I had, and it's so crazy. But like, I leave, I come home a couple weeks later. I met Abigail, and like it's been the most incredible thing that's ever happened. And I decide, coming out of that, I was going to finally make the move to work with Renee Rodriguez, right? We become really close. And it's just been such an amazing journey. But what happens, and this is the thing I want to share, is like we had to break down who I was at my core. Like, what is my next move? What I want to do. You're like, as a human, like if you say, Nico, share with me your story, I'm going to share you the highlights of my story and what I think is important for you to know. But as humans, we don't tend to get to know ourselves to the depth we should. And what I mean by that is we don't spend enough time listening and understanding and learning about ourselves. Only from our point of view is what we know, right? And so the first part of this was, you're going to do three or four 3-hour sessions with someone on my team. And he's identity coach, and he's going to help you like figure out what your ethos is, why you do what you do, what makes you tick, like what inspires you, what motivates you, what drives you. So I'm going through my story with this guy. He's like, oh, okay, start. And we're on a Zoom call. I'm like, all right. I start talking. He's like, no, like younger. I'm like, all right. You like younger than that, just like from the beginning. I was like, okay. And so I start talking. And like, he's asked me a lot of questions throughout this, bringing me on a totally different path. I'm going this way. He's going this way, you know, all around. And so he's like things like, oh yeah, so I went to Cal State North. Well, why'd you go there? Well, why'd you choose that one? Oh, why'd you do that? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I think my best friend was going to that one. So you didn't want to be alone? Okay, but why? And like, you're going through all these things. You're like, oh, I never really thought of that.
Yeah.
And so at the end,
really looking deep there.
Yeah. And so at the end of the 3 month or the 3 sessions, 3 or 4, I don't remember, but it's 3 or 4 sessions. There's like a 100-page packet about you.
Wow.
And then he breaks it down, and he spends, next couple weeks breaking it down to figuring out who is Nico and what is his ethos. And when it came back, it came in the 2 pages. It was like brain trainer. And deeper than that, vision catalyst. And so Nico likes to cast a vision, share it with other people, and figure out how to go from where he is now to that vision as fast as possible for myself and for other people. I'm like, oh, great. That's cool. And so
I do that.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, it's like a thought methodology. It's like, so I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? And so what happened was I always wanted to do public speaking. I didn't know why. Like, I wanted to speak. Like, I just thought it was important to share my stories and with other people, But then I was like, well, I want to speak on something a little bit more in depth. So I encourage people to go through this kind of work, whether it's identity coach or like just sharing with your friends and letting them question everything so you can start thinking differently. Because what I realized is that piece of paper, that Vision Catalyst title, it can't give me my job title, but what it did was it was like, okay, well, it's pretty obvious. You like building, you like casting a vision, building things, putting people in place to make this thing come to life. It's pretty obvious. Like, you like to be an entrepreneur. You like to be a founder or like start things, you like be a creator. And so that leads into where we are, right? And so we were dissecting, looking back at my like last 9 years. And every year I used to create these accountability boards, and they would always be different. It was just taking your goals for that year, breaking them down into habits, and then something daily or weekly or bi-weekly that you check off, literally physically check off every day or weekly or bi-weekly, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, I was doing this every year and not knowing why. Some years they were 7 feet tall. Sometimes they were 5 feet. Sometimes they were 3 feet wide. Sometimes they were 2 feet, whatever it was. Yeah. But they're always the same. Like, it was always like something to check off every day. And so we started reverse dissecting like what this is. And I started like doing a bunch of research. I'm like, why is this happening, right? And so this is called mind math. You have questions before this?
No, I don't.
Okay, so mind math. So you know the difference between unconscious and subconscious processing, right? Conscious versus subconscious. Conscious is thoughts above your awareness. Subconscious is thoughts below your awareness that you don't even think about. Things that happen in your past through trials, tribulations, traumas, experiences, fun, excitement, whatever that is. People you hung out with, right? Up to 95% of who we are today, what we've accomplished, how we live today, like where we are in our lives, are based on our unconscious processes, thoughts below our awareness, right? And the average human's having 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Like if I told you, Kristen, can you write down 60,000 thoughts right now? Yeah. You couldn't, but you can think it, right? Like, can you do it by tomorrow? Probably not, but you can think it, right? Yeah. And so most of those thoughts are unconscious, but 85% of those thoughts, those 60 to 80,000 thoughts, are triggered by visual stimuli. They're coming in through your eyes. So you're seeing something, it's reminding you of something else, which is reminding you of something else, which is reminding you of something else, and it's just constant, nonstop, right? So for the audience, you might want to write this down because it's a lot, but 30 to 50% of our waking hours are spent daydreaming. And what daydreaming is just trying to process all of these thoughts into some cohesive story, which then becomes your reality. And what if a lot of those thoughts are wrong? What if they're forming and shaping you into something that you're not, or it's not giving you the benefit of the life that you really want and deserve? And so what we realized is that by putting things in your peripherals, in your eyes, like the 85%, like putting things in your sight can change a lot of that process and make your unconscious processes work on autopilot in your favor towards your goals. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. I go back to the goal board and I'm like, the accountability board, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to create a business with this. I have to create, this is the thing I want to do. I want to help millions of people like get closer and closer and closer to the visions that they have with their life. So I started a company just a few months ago, and it's called The Vision Co. And it's thevisionco.com, and it'll be live maybe end of this month, maybe September 1st for sure. And what we do is, the mission is we make vision actionable. We create products that take your visions and turn them into simple daily habits that actually work. And so I could give so much credit to these things that I was doing in the past. Yeah. Basically, Kristen, you go online, you go and there's 9 subtopics or topics from fitness and health and nutrition to business to finance to personal development to spirituality. And you go, we'll say fitness and health, and you have a goal. And you go in there and they'll say like, okay, type in the goal that you want for this year. And you don't know the habit. Like it's going to ask you, what habit do you want for that goal? Do you want, and so there's a little agent at the bottom that you can say, hey, you need help? You can type in the goal and it'll give you ideas. It'll say, well, do you want a daily habit, a weekly, a bi-weekly, a monthly, a quarterly habit? You say, I want a daily habit. It'll give you all these options of a daily habit. And then you pick one and then boom, what's the next goal you want? What's the next goal? Okay, let's go to the next topic. You want finance. Oh, what's the goal you want? What's the next goal? What's the next? And then it shoots out this 3 foot wide by 4 foot tall board that gets shipped straight to your house with things that you mark off every day. And why this is important, physicality in a digital world, is when you're marking it off, every time you see that board, it reminds you of what you said you wanted, the goal that you wanted. And it's the habits that are aligning you with that goal. So every time you see it, it reminds you of the habit, which then should remind you of a feeling, of what it feels like to achieve that thing. And the more you can sit in that feeling and be reminded of that goal, the faster your subconscious mind will find ways to make that thing real.
That's incredible. I think that you're untapping, or you're unlocking a tangible way to be able to execute for people. Because going back to your subconscious mind and how many thoughts that you're processing, I mean, we don't realize. And last time that you were on the show, you're like, you could see my, what's it called on Instagram, your, where it has all like what your popular page, or
your explore page.
Your explore page. I'm like, what is it called? I can't think of it right now. But you're like, you could just look at my explore page and you know exactly what's, because you're identifying what your future is going to look like. But whenever we leave it up to everybody else,
it's
all the things that are attacking I say attacking, but coming for our visuals, right? And it's changing our subconscious mind. When you don't wrangle that in for yourself, you're letting everything else dictate where your future is.
Exactly. And your unconscious mind and the processes from before will dictate what it thinks you want. But we have to be in control, right? And so, for example, I shared this with you before, but I have this thing called thought architecture methodology. Basically, one of the methods in there is strategic environment. So if you have an office, like in my office, I have 3 screens. And on the 3 screens from my personal computer screen.
They're like massive screens.
Yeah.
People that don't know, they're massive.
It's like a studio, podcast / studio, right? It's just a big video studio, right? And so when I'm in there working, on all 3 of these screens, you see the inside of a private jet, a plane. The reason why I do that is I don't want a private jet just to have a private jet. It reminds me that I want my business so big and in so much need for people that a domestic plane would never be able to get me from one place to another fast enough if I needed to be somewhere to make sure that we're making the impact that we're wanting to make. That's why I have those screens in my...
That's amazing.
And then I have, if you look to my left, there's the awards that things I've accomplished. And then underneath on the shelf is my why, my family, my nieces, friends that wrote me poems or things that I've been given. And then on the right side, it's books for growth. And then above it, I have an Iron Man helmet because it reminds you to be imaginative and just shoot big, and then across from me is the board. And so my environment, by strategically placing things in my environment, it's constantly feeding my eyes, which holds 85% of your thoughts, which then triggers my goals, which then reminds me of them, and I could sit there and feel what it feels like to actually live in my goals.
You're already putting yourself in that.
Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what isn't. It's just what it feels and what it doesn't. So if you can make it feel that, it's going to figure out ways to get there, working in your favor. And so even if you're gone, I travel a lot, right? And so there'll be an app where it's like, oh, I don't have the board. It's in a wall in my house. I could go on the app and then it will render. And then say I'm gone for 2 weeks, I can go back to the board and it will tell me what I need to mark off on the board.
And check it off.
But we'll have a version for business. We'll have a version for kids. Can you imagine children, they're with their parents, right? And they're like, Dad, I want to be a better basketball player. Okay, son, we need to shoot 50 shots 3 times a week. And then you can put this little sticker when you do it for that day. And then do it for that day. Oh, did you do your shots? Did you do your math homework? Did you, whatever it is, I want to be better at this. When they go on to move out, go to college or be adults, they've innately or inherently, subconsciously, they are already know how to create habits, healthy habits for themselves. So they're better equipped for the future. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to help 1 million people a year plus with this board. Here's the crazy part. You buy it one time a year, right? And it's less than $100, but it's a thing that can completely transform your life. And so I wanted to ask you on here,
Yeah.
not to pressure.
Yeah.
We have 30, so August 1st, we're going to have 30, like just users to test it, give us feedback for the month.
Okay.
It's free for them, but we want you to try it out, and you and your sister to try it out and just tell us what we can change and fix and little kinks here and there.
Yeah.
And if we get enough good feedback, we're going to make those adjustments before we go live.
Yeah,
and so
we would love that.
Yeah,
Both
perfect.
my sister and I. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
thinking about
sure.
us. And I hate to start like wrapping it up.
Oh yeah, you're good.
I feel like there's so many questions that I do have.
Yeah.
But more than anything, I mean, yes, like ourselves now as adults to move ourselves forward. What an amazing impact that you're going to make. But I think that exactly what you're saying when you talked about family, because nothing holds a family tighter together when you have like family goals, and then you also have, you know, your individual child goals, because that's like, because I mean, you learned self-development when you were in your early 20s, and you, thank God you learned that, and you understood the importance of habits, but not very many people get that opportunity too. So I think that this is such a way to be able to impact a massive, I mean, you're thinking, you said 1 million people?
Yeah, a year. Yeah, we want them to be on.
Could be
1 million people a year minimum.
I mean, that minimum, right? Because you could change family legacies with that.
Yeah.
Just increasing
And then help people that don't have access to the internet and stuff, like taking,
and also the affordability
so
level too, because a lot of big programs that are coaching programs, and now me being in sales, I'm like, dang, coaching programs are such an investment.
Sure.
But to have something that could break down the tangible parts, which are habits that actually move you forward, because motivation is great. Like when you went to the conference in October.
Sure.
Amazing. That's where it lit a fire, like, oh, I'm changing the momentum. But then how do you get there? Habits. Having that tangible. I'm so excited for Nico. I'm also so excited for you and Abigail as well.
Yeah, thank you.
It's just amazing. I didn't know you personally last year of everything that you went through, but just from the outside looking in, when we were at Collective and just seeing you in passing, nobody would have ever known either. And that's just a testament to how, one, you keep it together, but two, you just continue to move yourself forward, and you always treat everybody with so much love, and as if I know in the gym I'm like, oh, is he waving at us? Like me and my sister,
of course.
like, oh yeah, like big wave.
Always.
But that's just what everybody expects from you, you
Yeah.
know? And so thank you for being that person, and always just challenging yourself to develop yourself even more, because the amount of people that you're going to impact is, you're going to leaving a legacy here.
Thank you.
Sure.
And I'll leave people with this.
Absolutely.
So basically, I my two business partners, Alec and Dante, they're freaking incredible. They're so innovative and so awesome. But we just had this talk. It was like, over my last 8 years, if I said, Kristen, I want you to go into one of these 8 boxes, or all of these 8 boxes, and feel my energy. And I say my energy is in all 8 of those boxes. And I say, go into all of them and tell me which year I made the most money. And you go to 2023 and you'd be like, okay, he made a good amount of money. But he's really stressed out. And then you go into 2018, you're like, okay, he's trying to make it. You would feel that one. But you go into 2025 and you wouldn't be sure, but you'd be almost positive that that's the year he made so much money. And in fact, this is the year that we're in my bottom 4 of those 8 years. And the reason why I share that is because money is such an incredible tool. But when you actually go after something you're purposeful and passionate about, and you know deep within that this is the thing that's gonna like be the change for the world, it's a different type of happiness. When you find like true love and all those things, it's a different type of happiness. So I think the message I'm trying to share with this is like, spend time getting to know who you are. For those that you're maybe lost a little bit, spend time getting to know who you are. Find someone you trust that would listen to you and help guide you, or just ask you questions that you're probably not used to. And then really take the time to figure out your next move and not just make it, because you're going to find that the true happiness lies in your purpose and your passion. So
Yeah. What a word. So thank you so much for today.
Yeah.
I think that those last little bullet points, you need to write them down.
Yep.
But thank you so much for joining us. I'm so excited for your company and
you.
how many people it's going to impact, and
Awesome.
also excited to try it.
Yeah. Sweet.
Thanks for being on. We'll see you next time.
Awesome.